from the Blue Mosque to the old Hippodrome of Constantinople, to the fairy chimneys and carpeted alleyways of Göreme, and sunsets over the Rose Valley. This is Istanbul to Cappadocia.
We've just walked about 500 meters from our hotel, the Acacia Mansion Hotel, to arrive at behind us the Hagia Sophia, and just opposite that is the Blue Mosque. So they're essentially neighbors. It's a really amazing area.
Despite many of the carpet salesmen in the square telling us that the entrance to the Blue Mosque was directly through their carpet shop, we eventually figured out it wasn't and made our way inside. It wasn't until later that we realized that this wasn't actually the Blue Mosque, but rather the tomb of Sultan Ahmed I. He was the 14th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, and there are 35 other major figures buried in this tomb. After paying our respects, we continued on our way to the old Hippodrome of Constantinople.
So just behind me there is what's called the German Fountain, which was built in 1900 to commemorate Kaiser Wilhelm when he visited Istanbul in 1898. So having just passed the German Fountain, we've now entered from the north what used to be called the Hippodrome of Constantinople. It was built in AD 203.
Just behind me we have the obelisk of Thutmose III. It's in phenomenally good shape, and we did Google, it's actually the original all the way from approximately 1400 BC, so it's kept very well.
The other monuments that we came across in the old Hippodrome included the Serpent Column, which dates back to the 5th century BC, and the Walled Obelisk, which dates back to the 10th century AD. So, since we'd missed it once already, this time we double-checked that we really had found the correct entrance to the Blue Mosque. This was a site that we really didn't want to miss, because it's one of the most renowned UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Istanbul. It showcases the classic Ottoman architecture with the high minarets, the detailed tiling, and the massive dome surrounding the central structure of the mosque.
We're inside the courtyard of the Blue Mosque. Unfortunately, it is closed right now. Our guess is for prayer hour, but even this main courtyard area is phenomenally intricate. It's very worth seeing.
Having been bested twice now by the Blue Mosque, we took it as a sign and headed over to the airport to go and visit Cappadocia, the central portion of Turkey, for a few days. We landed in Nevşehir Airport and took a transfer for about 1 hour to the town of Göreme. We were really excited to arrive because we'd heard all about these cave hotels, and this was going to be our first experience staying in one of these cave rooms.
Cappadocia!
Our hotel was called the Vista Cave Hotel, and we later learned that it had been the owner's house before tourism had picked up and he decided to turn it into a business. But as fun as sitting in a cave all day would have been, we decided to head up to the rooftop terrace and get the true Cappadocia experience.
So we just arrived in Cappadocia. We're currently at our hotel in Göreme, which is the Vista Cave Hotel. And we're about to head out on our first excursion, which will be a sunset horseback ride at the Simale Horse Ranch.
We had a couple of hours before our horse riding, so we walked down into the town of Göreme to get a first look.
We're just walking to the center village of Göreme, and already we're seeing tons of the fairy chimneys just behind me. We expect to see much more in the days to come.
On our way down to the town center, we came across a nice rooftop coffee shop with, surprisingly, no one else around. Despite our suspicions, the coffee was lovely, and the views were even better.
We found our hotel with the red canopy, Vista Cave.
We continued on our way down the hill and came across some of the most beautiful little alleyways that we've ever seen. Having gotten a taste for the town of Dreamy, it was time for us to head off to our horseback riding excursion. From before the Byzantine era, Cappadocia has been famous for having beautiful horses. So much so that even the name Cappadocia comes from the ancient Persian word for the land of beautiful horses. Our horse ride took us through the beautiful Kemal horse ranch, just 20 minutes from Dreamy.
Horseback riding in Jerome.
The guide seemed to fully trust Casey to ride the horse on her own, but for me, not so much.
Jason's first time on a horse in a lot of years. Getting ready for South Africa.
Luckily, I eventually got back on my own 2 feet, and we went over to see a beautiful view of sunset over the Rose Valley. And then it was time for Casey to show off one last time.
We just finished our sunset horse riding tour and it was amazing. We stopped for 10 minutes at a really lovely lookout, so we're very much looking forward to seeing the photos of those.
Having finished a successful first day in Cappadocia, we headed off to an early bedtime, as we had to get up at 4:30 the next morning for a sunrise hot air balloon ride.